We are back, boys.
Yeah, it's about
that
time.
is above everything. We are finally back.
We never left.
It took a while.
We never
The
left.
last time we left off, I think I was in a different state, in a different house. You guys went to a bachelor party. Matt completed his challenge of getting the ball into the trash can over the house. So
About fucking time.
congrats
it took
on that.
Long time.
But,
yeah, I worked hard for that.
We've
Thank you.
had, yeah, man, for sure. We're all about we gotta hype each other up around here. We can't bring each other down. It's a team effort.
How's the house, Tyler?
It's good, dude. I will say this, it's a lot of work. We got here and it took us about 2.5 weeks to actually move into the house. Every single room was carpeted, so we had to pull all the carpet up. Luckily, there was hardwood under it, but you had to go through and sand all that multiple times, put coats of clear on it, let that dry for a week. It was just a lot, and painting all the walls, completely knocked down the ceiling on the lower level, and did like drywall on those. It's been a lot, but yeah, man, I love it. Like, I bought a lawnmower last weekend. That was like
dude, you're a real man now.
That was
I
a
feel
big
like
boy purchase.
when you buy a lawnmower, I feel like you hit that next stage.
That's
in
dad
your life. You're
territory
like,
right there.
Yeah.
I
When are
know.
you having kids?
Yeah,
Soon he
that's
bought a
conversation
lawnmower.
for another day. But
Well, Noah's getting married this month, so
I know, dude. We were
Yeah,
just
I'll be
talking
in
about
2
it.
weeks. I'll be
I
in
know,
a
we were
new
just
studio.
talking about that.
Won't have
You've
the bed
got,
behind me anymore. It'll be a little man cave.
It's
are you getting an office? Hell yeah!
Ooh. We're all going to be cooking. Yeah, you're going to see a nice signed Adrian Peterson jersey right here.
I'm gonna have a
The
sword
dude that hit
behind
his kid, right?
Oh, yeah, we're really going to talk about players and what they've done as far as
Yeah,
when
I
it
have a
comes to
signed
the
Justin
wall.
Tucker.
Yeah.
I have a signed Justin Tucker thing. That's why I have a whiteboard.
me.
behind
Signed
me,
in
so.
his jizz, probably.
Bro.
But yeah, no, the house is great, man. It's life's moving for sure. Got a new computer on the MacBook Pro now, so that's another big boy purchase, I guess. It's to take place here over the past couple weeks, but lots happening in the NFL. That's for damn sure. We've had a couple signings, but the big elephant in the room is the draft. How much of it did you guys watch?
I watched all of the first 3 rounds.
I was
in and out of like the later rounds.
Yeah, I would say all of it. I see all of it as the first 3 to 4 rounds.
Yeah.
After that, you're starting to see players you've never heard of. So,
Yeah, I would say that, but there was a little intrigue to watch it after the fourth round.
yeah, that was
this
it.
year.
Yeah, that was
And
the only
let's
one
go
I was
ahead.
waiting on.
Let's talk about Shedeur. So if you have been living under a rock for the last week or so, Shedeur Sanders, one of the more highly touted quarterback prospects in this draft, projected by a lot of people to go in the first round, slips all the way to the 5th round. And it was the talk not only of NFL and the draft, but of sports over that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday period. Everybody was like, when's he going to go? What's going on? What's your guys' take on, the main reason for why he dropped?
I'll go first because I know Matt's a big Shedeur homie. So
Yeah, I'm holding it in. I'm
he's
waiting
gonna
for
wanna-
you guys to say how you feel.
Listen, a few months ago, I probably would have. I think I even said on here like I would pick Shedeur over Cam Ward strictly because I thought like Shedeur had the higher floor. I also said that I think he has the lower ceiling. Like I think Cam has the potential to be a better overall quarterback in the league. I think what it was is that he wasn't a good enough prospect to be acting the way he was. I could be wrong. Not saying that he was wrong, but like he only took interviews inside of the top 10. I think he didn't interview with any other team outside of that. And I just don't know that he was top 10 talent. And when you act like that, it's kind of tough. Plus, there's just so much noise, and you're bringing just attention to your locker room with who his dad is. I just don't know that his play on the field really warranted all of that. Now, saying all that, do I think, what was he taken? The 5th quarterback taken?
6th.
Yeah,
Sixth?
sixth.
Like-
Yeah, because it was Cam Ward,
Jackson
Tyler
Dart.
Shaw, Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, and
Yeah.
then him.
He's the second best quarterback in this draft. Like, if you want to argue Jackson Dart, maybe, okay, but like,
We're taking Tyler Show over.
yeah, dude, what's going on
Over
here?
Shedeur.
Like,
I think that's my entire problem. It's like, yeah, he comes with a lot of baggage, but he has the better upside. So why are we taking Tyler Show, who had like 24 touchdowns and I believe 8 or 9 interceptions, who has flashed, but he's also 25 years old. So
he's going to be throwing. Hold on, he's going to be throwing touchdowns to a guy that he played with at Oregon.
Yeah, there were multiple players.
Well,
yeah.
Here's the thing too with it. So like, it makes me think back to the class a few years ago with like Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett and all them. Like people were expecting Malik Willis to be a first round pick, and he fell to the third. But the thing was, the entire class fell. Like it wasn't like
Will Levis in that?
No. I don't think there was a quarterback drafted in the first round. Kenny Pickett. Except for him. Yeah,
it was Kenny Pickett, Malik, and like Matt Corral were like the big 3 quarterbacks, and like that entire class slid. I guess.
Yeah, they all went to like the 4th round.
It would have been like different if that's what happened here. Like if it was like Cam Ward, and then the entirety of the class just kind of went like 3rd and on. But seeing 5 guys go before him was ludicrous, dude.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on the fact that could we have foreseen him going in the 2nd round? Yeah, I think we all can probably agree with that. I mean, maybe Matt was. I know we've had the discussions about. I brought up the fact that he might slip out of the 1st round. You're like, there's no way he's going to slip out of the 1st round. I'm with Noah though. I think when this whole draft process started, we had the breakdown. Who would you rather have, Shedeur or Cam? And I probably initially shifted towards Shedeur. I think for what Noah was saying, the floor is there. I think that he's younger. A lot younger than Cam Ward is. So I think that there's more growth available there. But as time went on, I think we started to see a guy that thinks he's bigger than the NFL. And I think that's what it comes down to is you can sit there and say that this was an attack on Shedeur and that the NFL colluded and that they were doing everything they could to teach this guy a lesson. Sure, that might be true, but I also think he brought all of this on him. I've heard from a number of people that have said if he was in the SEC, he wouldn't even been a starting quarterback. I think that his intangibles are pretty damn good. I think they warrant, late 1st, early 2nd.
He's got good touch on the ball, good accuracy on the sidelines, like decent anticipation. But
it wasn't a question about the film.
No.
It was a question about I'm worried about how much I'm spending on my chain. I'm worried about how much I'm spending on my pre-draft party. I'm talking to Cam Ward about making a rap video, and Cam Ward saying, I want to play football. I'm all about football. It's all of the how much do you actually want it? Do you want the fame and the glory and the allure of being a top-tier NFL quarterback? Or are you going to actually work for it and be that guy? Because I hate to be like this, but he's been kind of given it all. His dad was the coach at Colorado, and I'm not saying that he wasn't worthy of being the starting quarterback there. But you do have to question that now that you're going into a situation where your dad's not there. Are you going to work your ass off to be the best possible quarterback in this league? Do you love the game that much? Whereas Cam Ward, it seems like, is just addicted to football.
I mean, I get your point, but we're talking about a Sanders. Like, we watched Deion do the exact same things, and he was just fine. I mean, the dude was playing baseball and going and playing in World Series while also playing football, and he was all about the fame and the chains and all that stuff. I don't think that should have slid him. Now, I will say he probably had the worst pre-draft interviews, and I would do anything that I could to be a fly on the wall.
See him, dude. They had
I don't know if you saw Brian Daboll, but he basically admitted he didn't say it, but he was like, there was a report that came out that said you and Shedeur did not get along, and he's like, I don't really want to talk about it. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, it must be. I don't think it's even about his dad or anything else. I think he, like you said, he did it to himself, but I don't care how bad his interviews are. 5th round, and Jalen Milroe is getting picked before you, that's ridiculous. I would take a flyer on him in the 3rd at worst. But the 5th, I mean, there's not that many players better than he is.
The reason I could see Jackson Dart getting drafted ahead of him is the exact situation that happened was the Giants wanting him. Look at Dable, Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, Jackson Dart. That's his style of quarterback. That's his type of guy.
White?
I don't know. Yeah. You can go ahead and You can paint that picture if you want, but I'm just saying that he wants a bigger, stockier, mobile type of quarterback, and Shedeur isn't that. Not to say that Shedeur doesn't have the mobile ability, but it's not that of Dart. It's not that of Josh Allen or Daniel Jones. And I know putting Daniel Jones in the same category as Josh Allen is a bit far-fetched, but I could see why they would go that direction. The Giants would go that direction over Shedeur. Like I said, after the first round, I was like, okay, he's going to be picked day 2. No doubt in my mind. Did not expect any of it. I did not expect
round two, I wasn't as surprised because there were a lot of great players on the board that got all the defensive great prospects all got like a Will Johnson, Mike Green, like all those guys got selected in the second round. I knew the Browns weren't going to go with it. They knew he was going to slide. Like I think everybody knew he was going to slide. And I think at that point when they got past the first round, everybody was like waiting for that first round pick. Like who is going to take him? And then nobody did. And they're like, oh, he might slide late. And I think it just kept going. And they were waiting as long as possible so they don't look like idiots, the GMs, if he doesn't pan out. But at the same time, we're taking Jackson Dart by trading up and giving up next year's first to do it. So I don't know. If you're trading up for Jackson Dart and not for Shedeur, I think that is more fireable than taking Shedeur in the first round with your pick and he doesn't pan out. Now, if Jackson Dart doesn't pan out, you're getting fired immediately just because of how many assets you gave up. So
right, but I think they'd rather take a chance on the Jackson Dart side of things. But you've also got the quarterbacks there already built into the system with Russell Wilson and Jameis, at least for this year. Just for this year. To at least mold Jackson into where he needs to be. Did you hear what Chris Carter said about the whole situation? Did you listen to his interview?
I don't think so.
Definitely would advise you to go look at it. But this is what he said. There's no collusion with the owners. Shedeur Camp overplayed their hand. They thought he was in the same evaluation as Cam Ward, and really it wasn't close. The clip of him asking Cam if he wanted to do a rap video is a microcosm of the entire situation. It didn't work out at the combine. Interview process was shit. He declined interviews with a bunch of teams, basically any team that wouldn't take a first-round quarterback. You don't play football all the time. You're a human being the rest of the time. The legendary merch hurt him as well. The media propping him up and sucking him off did not help him. In college, it did for NIL and followers, but it really hurt the NFL expectations. Let me tell you what he understands today. He ain't running shit. You don't have this figured out. Your dad doesn't have this figured out. You're going for a job interview, and you're more concerned about what your outfit was and your necklace being over $100,000. He convinced people and teams that they were better off going in a different direction, even if people had lesser talent. Shedeur threw away at least $30 to $50 million.
Well, yeah, I also think I think his dad's more to blame than Shedeur is. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Dion talking about Joe Flacco and saying, like, damn, Joe Flacco's as old as me. Like, that kind of, like, BS shit when you know you're on camera. It's like, and I think it will wake Shedeur up that now his dad's not going to be around him and he's in an NFL locker room. But Dion's just as much to blame. He was going on podcasts for the last 2 years saying, oh, I'm going to pull an Eli Manning, even though, and I think teams just took that the wrong way. Yeah, saying if he goes to the Browns, then fuck this or something like that. I don't even know what it was, but
well, then RG3 came out today and said that he feels like a lot of teams didn't draft Shedeur because, or they were scared of drafting Shedeur with the fear of Dion taking the head coaching job. So there's a lot of head coaches, and I that was the first thing that came to my mind was, well, if you're drafting Shedeur, Dion wants an NFL head coaching job. You're a fool if you don't think that man wants to be a head coach in the NFL.
I do, because I think that he can go back to college whenever he wants. So if he gets fired in 2 years, some college team is going to want him. But at the same time, like, I don't. If you're a good head coach, you should not be scared of that. Like, I think the Browns would be fools to get rid of Kevin Stefanski at all, but to get rid of him for Deion Sanders, like, I know they're a dumb organization, but there's no way an organization like maybe Pittsburgh, who could have taken him, they're not getting rid of, Mike Tomlin. Like, I'm surprised an organization like that, who is structured like a Pittsburgh, I think it's ridiculous they didn't take Shedeur in the first, second, third, or fourth, and instead you go with Will Howard in the sixth. I just think and I think there's some truth. You saw a lot of people come out this week and say NFL teams don't know how to evaluate quarterbacks.
Oh,
that's true. It's
man.
true
You're
to
not
an
gonna listen
extent.
to Mel
Hold
Kiper.
on, let me. It's true. I love Mel Kiper, by the way, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but he made the broadcast unbearable, dude.
I agree. But at the same time, no, hold on. So I think there is some truth, but I also think, I don't think it's more about the evaluation. I think it's more about the overthinking than it is more about the evaluation. I think they see it, but then they let outside noise come in, and that's what messes them up. Like, I think Pittsburgh didn't take Shedeur because of the outside noise, and you can't do that as a GM. So, yeah,
they're
that's
a locker
what I think
room, but they're also a culture and an organization that doesn't typically take those types.
But
of
you're
players.
going to sign Aaron Rodgers?
But they're not. Their owner came out, I think yesterday, and said that they're not confident that Aaron Rodgers is now coming. He said it seems like Aaron Rodgers does not want to sign with Pittsburgh.
But if he did, would they take it? I mean, they've obviously been waiting on him.
I mean,
organizations change, man.
You're also talking about a guy in Aaron Rodgers that won a Super Bowl 3 or 4 MVPs. I'm not saying he's the same quarterback as he was then, but he's at least proven it rather than a rookie who thinks he's bigger than everything he's ever been a part of.
I think a lot of these guys think that way just because of NIL.
I mean, Shedeur is also the
is.
same guy that lost to Nebraska and sat there in the post-game interviews, and the first thing he said was, how many times did Raiola get sacked? He went after his offensive line immediately. And he went after his running back immediately. You can't do that, though. You can't throw your teammates under. That sticks out in teams' minds. Like, to see that's the type of guy you're going to bring into your locker room after you lose, he's going to sit there and blame his teammates for the loss?
I think Shedeur's a leader, even though, he says some shit at the media, but I think it was granted. I mean, the guy was freaking being sacked 100 times a year. I mean, at some point, you got to fucking step up. Like, I don't know. I don't hate it. I think that he's a confident person, and I think that with the right situation, he's going to change a team in the right direction. And I think Cleveland got a really good quarterback, and I think he will be the structured pocket passer that Kevin Stefanski needs. And that's why they signed Joe Flacco. He is just like, and maybe not the big arm, obviously. He doesn't have the big arm, but I comped him to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had no mobility in college at all. And he was picked number 1 overall, and Shedeur had a better completion percentage than Joe Burrow did. I don't know, man. I good for the Browns. I hate it because I'm a Ravens fan, but dude, he's going to be great for an organization. I don't really care how he acts. Like, he's too talented to slip to the 5th round. No matter, he could say fuck off in an interview, and I wouldn't give a shit. You're too talented to go to the 5th round.
Well, that's the question. That's the $1 million question now. Is he going to go into this situation and be like, you know what? I got to look in the mirror, take a good self-evaluation, and get to work and put in the time and the effort that it takes to be an NFL quarterback? Or is he going to sit there and have that sense of entitlement and be like, man, I shouldn't have gotten picked this low? Is he still going to be worried about what happened? You know, Reese Davis talked about that, about, you know, this happened. What are you going to do? Whatever has happened prior to him getting drafted happened, this is the result, and you have to deal with it. How are you going to tighten your bootstraps up? Are you going to get to work, or are you going to let this affect you? Because if you let it affect you, Dylan Gabriel is going to be that third string or second string quarterback.
Stop.
I'm telling you.
Stop.
I think another thing
That was the worst pick in the draft.
They didn't have they didn't have an agent, did they? Like, it was just him and Deion.
Shiloh said that he got rid of Deion because he was a bad agent.
Yeah,
he said it on live stream.
They didn't have any sort of, like, the only people giving them advice were their own camp.
Yeah, Deion doesn't know shit about the NFL
like
anymore. He does not know anything or how it works. And Deion was way more talented than Shedeur, so he thinks that he's just as talented as he was, and it's not even close to the same. So I get it. I don't know. I hate that the Browns got him.
So why do you like Mel Kiper?
All right, so here's my argument.
Here's
my argument for Mel Kiper is I think Mel Kiper is the reason the draft is the way it is now. I don't know if you remember when the Colts GM went after Mel Kiper when he started these draft evaluations for fans or whatever for analysis or analysts, excuse me. And he started, like, the draft would not be the same as it is right now. It would not be as hyped. There would not be mock drafts. There would not be fans coming out and trying to
Different
evaluate
cities.
their own players. Mel Kiper started the entire hype of the draft because no one gave a shit about it.
It's definitely different than it used to be.
Mike Kiper.
It used to be like I would turn it on and see the Panthers pick, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I don't really know much about this. Like, I don't know."
Yeah, and now we have podcasts about it because of Mel Kiper.
I don't disagree with you with that, but like at some point in time, you have to call Lee Corso's calling it quits after this year. Probably makes sense. You know,
why should he call it quits? Because he said that Shedeur's the best quarterback in the draft, and he was.
No, because here's what I want to say. Apparently, congratulations, Noah, because Mel Kiper about 10 years ago said if Jimmy Clausen is not a successful quarterback in the NFL, I'm done.
Bad
and he's
takes.
still here.
Patrick Mahomes,
I think, was the 5th-ranked quarterback in his class.
Who do you think is the best analyst right now? I guarantee they have a terrible pick at some point.
But they're not sitting there on the set almost crying in tears about a guy not getting picked.
That was ridiculous.
My issue isn't
that's where
wrong.
I'm at.
It's more of like you're taking away of the moment from these, like the biggest moment in these kids' lives. Like when they go back and watch it on television, it's going to be Mel Kiper literally having a meltdown because Shedeur Sanders has been sliding for the past 3 days.
Reese Davis is one of the most stoic people I think I've ever seen in all of TV. And even he was like, Mel, stop. Like, you need to calm down. Like, you got to get over this. And, yeah, all he did was talk about Shedeur. Did you look at his post-draft rankings, his post-draft grades?
Yeah, Cleveland got number one.
You want to guess who got the best one?
Yeah,
like,
Cleveland.
Look,
Cleveland deserves that title, Shedeur or not.
You cannot come out and say that for the last 50 years, the NFL has had no idea on evaluating quarterbacks and act like you have had you're God when it comes to it.
I think he said it the wrong. I don't think he actually meant it that way. I think he was just pissed off in the moment. And he, when you have a take that you've been saying for a year now, probably close to a year, and it doesn't happen. Like, I think it was just a bad moment, but he is great for TV. It is what it is. Like, we're all talking about him. ESPN, or is it ESPN?
Yeah.
They're gonna keep him on. They're not gonna get rid of him.
Part of my take was talking about it though, and I think it was Peter Schrager was talking about it. He's like, Mel's the type of guy that doesn't even know that people are talking about him. Like, he's not on Twitter. No. He's not involved in social media. He doesn't understand that him and Shedeur are the two biggest talked about subjects probably from the NFL draft.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be – I hate that we're all coming after Mel Kiper acting like he's the biggest idiot in the world, but I don't think he gets enough credit for what he did to the NFL draft. And I think he deserves a spot on that until he wants to be done.
I think Noah and I are on the same page where it's more of – you literally saw a dude have a meltdown because a prospect didn't get drafted.
I just think he had a bad year. Like, I normally don't have an issue with Mel Kiper. I know his, like, draft stuff can be wonky some years, and a lot of people, like, he's wrong a lot, but, like, it's football. Most people are wrong. I think it's only, like, 40% of first-round quarterbacks even get, like, a starting job after their rookie contract's up. So, like, everyone sucks at evaluating talent in the NFL. That's just kind of how it works.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a bad moment.
Daniel Jeremiah, if you were wondering, that's my favorite to follow.
I mean, he's great, but I'm sure
he has
had
his
really
mistakes,
bad
100%,
draft grades.
100%.
Yeah, but he also doesn't have the platform that Mel Kiper's known for that. That's like his personality. He's reckless. He says how he feels. Like, I get it. It sucks for the draft prospects, and I fully agree with you. I think he learns from it, and hopefully he doesn't act like that again. But
did you guys see the proposed trade that Colin Cowherd had about a month and a half ago?
Dude, I like watching Colin Cowherd, sure, but he's an idiot, dude. Like,
dude, when it comes to that,
TJ Watt,
is bad.
Real quick, it was TJ Watt, George Pickens, this year's first and next year's first for the number 1 overall pick to take Shedeur.
Yeah,
that was his.
And yet, after the draft, see, that's the only thing I don't like about Cowherd.
He backtracks so hard.
Backtracks. And he'll admit when he's wrong, but when it's a really strong take, he'll just backtrack and not mention it. Like, he said Shedeur deserved to fall, and it was his fault, and it was expected. And I'm like, what the hell?
He does
like,
I know what you mean, because he does where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong, and he points out the little things that he was wrong about.
Yes, he never does the big topics.
Yes, he won't go after the, hey man, let's go ahead and address this proposed trade you have. Prank call situation. I want to move on to that.
Oh God, I have nothing to say. It's all stupid. It's
just
just stupid.
My question is this. Connor Lee got prank called. Tyler Warren got prank called. Cooper DeJean got prank called last year. Because it's Shedeur, we decide we're going to put our foot down and find the team?
I think it's because the kid was stupid enough to put it on social media, and it was very obvious to track down where the breach came from. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think that was the reason why it was a big deal.
So if it doesn't,
he put a video on
social
Instagram,
media,
and
you don't think he gets fined?
No, it goes on Instagram. You can easily find that it was through his dad. Like, it was so easy. Yeah.
Right.
But and I'm sure he was the kid. I'm sure they called all the prospects. It was not just Shedeur. No. I can guarantee you it was not.
Right, but they're making it and this is why I hate the media, because they're framing it around, they're getting fined because of the prank call to Shedeur.
No.
It was a breach of information. That's what they're getting fined for.
Right, but they're doing it because it was a prank call. But my sense is here, why is that the one that only gets hyped up? Why don't
that's
because
the
biggest slide in NFL history. That's probably
why.
But
also at the same time, like Noah said, it goes on social media, the actual prank call, and also Shedeur was live when it happened.
Yeah.
So you have one video, you show both sides of the prank call, and you're like, you added up. That's why it was big. But I will say Shedeur acted like an adult and didn't freak out about it, and he called the kid after, and they were fine. So I don't know, maybe not as much of a bad kid as what people think.
I don't think he's a bad kid. I think his ego needs to be toned down. That's my biggest thing.
The way I saw someone put it was like, he's a quarterback who acts like a DB or a wide receiver. The quarterback is the CEO of the company, and the DB and wide receivers are the salespeople, and they drive the Ferraris and wear the Rolexes and all that jazz.
That is such a good freaking comp.
I mean, the receivers and DBs are definitely more divas than the quarterbacks, but that's also because, I mean, I don't know of many wide receivers and DBs that you're looking at as like, yep, that's the leader of my team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they're the salespeople.
But they
just go out and get shit done. The CEO is the one running the team and maintaining a certain image and whatnot. But I think we need to. So Shedeur, obviously, probably the largest slide in NFL draft history. So he's firmly number one, like Mount Rushmore NFL slides. Who are the other three?
I think, me personally, I mean, I'll give my personal one, but my number one, excluding Shedeur, is Lyle Collins.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
He was supposed to be a first-round pick, and he was being questioned in a murder investigation of a pregnant woman, and he slipped.
He went
all the way to being undrafted. Right? Yeah. So that one is like
so whatever happened, was he actually found guilty, or was it like or like what was? Oh,
he'd be in jail.
Yeah, he was on. Well, I don't know.
But he played for the Cowboys, right? Didn't the Cowboys?
Yes.
Jalen Carter got into an accident and his roommate died, and
he was really good at football, like really, really good.
So was
Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis, you know.
My favorite NFL draft slide, and it's not like the biggest, Laramie Tunsil.
The funniest one of all time.
The best one ever. I'll never forget having the draft pulled up on our flat screen, and they just showed this
and they tried to blur it.
They tried to blur it so you couldn't see. I mean, I think he fell from like a top 5 pick to like 13th or whatever with Miami.
It was 13, yeah.
But like just the situation surrounding it was hilarious.
But he was the number 3 tackle taken, because Ronnie Stanley went to the Ravens at 6, and then Conklin went either 8 or 9 to the Titans, and then he went at 13. But that's like the most
that's just iconic.
One.
Yeah, that one was just so funny, dude.
100%.
Yeah, I wasn't alive for this one, but my favorite on the list, and that's just because when you brought up this, I was looking up some slides, and I never knew this, but apparently Dan Marino slid in the draft because of cocaine rumors, which I never knew about. And he ended up being one of the greatest of all time.
Everyone was
and the funny thing is, he got drafted to Miami, where all the cocaine is. Yeah. So it was a perfect fit.
It was just easy access.
He was the 6th quarterback in that draft too. So
that's
6
wild.
Quarterbacks went in the top 27, which is crazy enough.
I think Dan Marino's a top 8 quarterback of all time, just because of where he how he basically progressed the NFL into a passing league.
Randy Moss
I was
is up
going to
there
say Randy
too.
Moss because he had the whole scenario where he got in a fight or something, right? And
So
they
what happened
blew it up.
with? Yeah, if you ever get a chance, watch Rand University 30 for 30. But basically, he got caught smoking a joint, so they took his scholarship away from Notre Dame. Then there was a kid bullying his friend, so he beat the shit out of the kid when he was on probation while committed to Florida State at that point. Took his scholarship away from Florida State, went to Marshall. They used all that from high school as the reason as to why he went from what should have been a top 5 to past 20. I think it was like 22 or 23.
24 or something, right? 21, something like that.
Typical, you know. Vikings wide receivers getting drafted in the 20s always pan out. Shout out Laquan Treadwell. Aaron Rodgers got to be up there.
Yeah.
That's an
I
easy
mean,
one.
he could have went number 1.
I was going to say, was it? He was
him and Alex Smith.
Yeah, like it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And San Fran had the number 1, so it was like, oh, we'll keep him, you know, in the Northern California area where he's familiar.
How many Super Bowls do the 49ers win if they would have ended up drafting Rodgers? Because they had some really talented teams. They had Vernon
Kaepernick
Davis.
was there, though. Remember
Yeah,
that,
I mean,
because-
if Rodgers was on that 49ers team, they probably beat the Ravens.
Yeah, you got to also wonder about all the opportunities against, like, the Seahawks, too, I feel.
Yeah,
Whenever
when
the
they
Seahawks
lost a couple times there, too.
Like,
yeah.
Rodgers would have been, that was right in Rodgers' prime.
I mean, if they kept Rodgers for as long as Green Bay kept him, 49ers probably would have won the Super Bowl against Mahomes the first time, maybe. I would say there were multiple times they went to NFC Championship. They lost to the Falcons that one year. Yeah,
23
I think they at least get 2, at
Yeah.
least 1 or 2.
That's definitely something to think about, because during that time you had that whole Legion of Boom, and the 49ers and Seahawks rivalry was just, I mean, it was up there with Ravens Steelers as like the best in football at that time.
Yeah, it was elite.
And if you had Rodgers, I feel like those games could have been easily flipped.
Yeah. I don't know. Rodgers is a playoff choker too, so
Yeah,
He
that's
doesn't have
also
great
true.
track record in the playoffs. So
yeah. Brady Quinn was another one I had on this list too. He was projected to be like possibly the number 1 pick,
Do you
and then
wanna
he
know
went
something?
all the way at 22.
I was 13, going on 14 when that draft happened in 07, I think is when it was. Yeah, it was 07. Vikings had, I think it was the 7th overall pick. I really, really wanted them to take Brady Quinn. Like, because we didn't have a quarterback at the time, but we had Chester Taylor, former Raven great, at running back. So I was like, dude, go after the quarterback here. Like, we need a quarterback. So I'm not a GM because they drafted Adrian Peterson. So it all works out in the end, I guess. But yeah, I remember Brady Quinn. I was clamoring. I was like, dude, Vikings, draft Brady Quinn. Shows I don't know shit. So maybe Shedeur will end up being the best quarterback in NFL history.
If he does, I will. I swear, if he even gets a start next year and he wins a game, you guys.
Well,
are not
what
gonna
if they
want
start
to.
0-5 and Dion's all over social media pressuring them to start him?
I don't think he'll do that. I personally don't think
he can't
that's
be
going to
that
happen.
dumb. No.
Yeah. I
think they ate a big humble pie the past 7 days.
Yeah, I think they're going to shut their mouths.
Yeah.
I think it was good in.
It's put up or shut up time.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. The other one I had on here, Will Levis. You know, he was rumored to go he had top 10 upside. I know he only slipped to the second round, but, you know,
There were talks of the Panthers taking him.
Show.
I'll never
That was
forget
smoke
that.
and
No, it was
mirrors,
like,
bro.
dude, if we take Will Levis, he said, I'm done. I'm done.
I knew.
I was.
That man came out.
I was-
That man came out and said he liked mayo in his coffee, and I was like, "Get him out of here, bro. He's done."
Duke's
Hey, got
Mayo
him a
Bowl, man. He would have
sponsorship.
fit right in.
Hey, man, he's making millions from that. Now that he's going to be a backup. that sponsorship.
Any other ones that you guys had that kind of stuck out to you? I know Manziel was up there as a possible one, too, but
No, I had
Still went in the
Rodgers,
first.
Tunsil, Marino, and Brady. Quinn.
Brady.
No,
Not Tom
dude,
Brady.
Johnny
Tom
Manziel
Tom.
should have fell. That man did drugs and drank and slept with hookers for 4 years.
Well, that's
and-
my-
Yeah, I'm
That's
surprised he even went in the first round. Looking back at it, like
think-
holy shit.
My question. This is going to be my question to you, Matt. You ready?
Yep.
When it's all said and done, who has more NFL starts, Shedeur Sanders or Johnny Manziel? I think Manziel.
How
had
many did
7 or
Manziel
8.
have?
He had 7
Yeah,
or
he
8.
played half.
Oh,
a season.
Shedeur. It's going to happen. So you have a 40-year-old quarterback in Joe Flacco, and as much as Cleveland loves Joe Flacco, and dude, I can't stand that shit. They claim him like they've had him forever, and they had him for half a year. Flacco played like shit in Indianapolis, and I think it's going to happen again. That was a magical run, but I think that was the last one. Dylan Gabriel, holy shit, he should have been the last quarterback taken in this draft. I would take Tyler Show over him.
Just remember, this past year in college football, Oregon wanted to schedule Colorado, and Colorado ducked them because they didn't want to get blown out. Well, now Dylan Gabriel's got his chance to get a lick back at Shedeur.
Dylan Gabriel is shit. He's real shit. He's so bad. That was the worst draft. Dude, I could not. I was more surprised by that than the Show pick. But yeah, I think
Kenny
he
Pickett's
has
there too. But I think Kenny
Shedeur
Pickett
has at
Flacco
least. I think Shedeur has at least 7 or 8 starts this year.
This
I really
year?
do. I do. Yes, I do.
Well,
I think there's and the reason
this.
for that, it's kind of like the Baker kinda in a sense. They didn't want to start Baker Mayfield. Who was their head coach at the time when they went like
Freddie Kitchens?
No, it was the guy before him.
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah. They had him. They didn't want to start Baker Mayfield for a while because of his attitude and everything else, and then it kind of forced their hand. I think it's going to be the same thing. I think the media is going to get into their head, and Kevin Stefanski might be on the hot seat, Andrew Berry. And you know how Dorsey is. He was the reason why they got Deshaun Watson, and probably the reason they got Shedeur. That's like the entire conversation right now. So I think he at least starts probably 6 to 8 games this year. I think they give him a real chance.
This. I'm going to tell you this. If he's going to get his starts, he better get it this year. Because in my opinion, I think as we look forward into the rest of the draft, I think the Browns did exceptionally well in some other aspects of the draft. The trade they made with Jacksonville, I think is going to pay huge dividends for the Browns, and I think they're going to take Arch Manning next year. I think that's what's inevitably going to happen. Either him or Nussmeier. It's a much better draft class for quarterbacks next year compared to this year. It's like night and day.
So why take 2 this year? Are you just swinging until you – I don't hate it. You're swinging until it happens.
Because you're going to cut one of Pickett or Flacco. And then you're going to have the other 2 rookies battling it out for that backup. The other's going to be third string. That's what I think is going to end up happening. So you're saving a lot of money in the cap space as far as that's concerned. And then the other one between Pickett or Flacco, if they suck, they're going to be drafting a quarterback, so they're going to get rid of them. They're not even going to keep them. So that's what I think is going to happen. But the rest of the draft, that was the big firework of the night, was Cleveland trading number 2 to move back in the draft and get next year's first-round pick from Jacksonville. Obviously, the Jags took Travis Hunter. Does Travis Hunter's dad have parole in the state of Florida?
What?
Like, can he? Because can he?
Wait, I don't even know anything about Travis Hunter's dad.
Yeah, I thought Deion Sanders.
I thought he was just not in his life, and I thought Deion was like basically his dad.
They. Do you remember during the Heisman, like they gave him the opportunity? I don't know if it was to come to New York or to go somewhere to watch it, but I know his dad has been in jail. But I don't know if he has the ability, like when he goes out on parole, is it restricted to the state of Florida? Because if so, Jacksonville.
You think he went there
Florida,
so his daddy could come watch him play?
I don't know. I could see Jacksonville doing something to help him. I don't know. That was one thing that came to mind. But how about the Jags GM? What'd you think of his speech after drafting? Did you guys see it? The speech after drafting Travis Hunter. I thought it was completely scripted and robotic.
I mean.
I think he got it from the rant. I mean, Les Snead acts like that too. I don't know. I like the attitude. I think they needed that.
That's actually
they
a really good comparison to Les
Trent
Snead.
Baalke, yeah. Trent Baalke was so bad for years that I think he's trying to make a statement and get Jaguar fans excited.
Also, most
and
GMs
I don't
are the
hate
numbers, like kind of nerdy dudes, anyways. So
I think he's
going to
be
typically awkward.
I think he's going to be awesome.
I know that you hyped him up, what was it, a couple months ago during free agency, and you really liked the moves that they made, trading Christian Kirk and cutting a bunch of cap space when they did as well. Like, I knew that you were really hyping him up and liked his moves. That was the first major move, I guess you can say, in his tenure. But, I mean, shit. What do you guys think Travis Hunter's going to play? Do you think he's going to strictly be one side of the ball, or do you think they're going to give him the opportunity to split?
I think he'll do defense with some packages.
I personally think he's going to play full-time defense, and he's going to be the wide receiver 3 on Jacksonville, which I think Travis Hunter, as much as I love Travis Hunter, he is not a great receiver.
He's a much better DB than he is a receiver.
Much better. He does not have the size to play wide receiver, which is weird because he has the size to play DB, which that's so weird in the NFL.
He's got a great point of attack, and he gets to the ball really quick.
Yeah, I think they'll use him. Like, they need a third wideout.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's perfect.
Who's behind Brian Thomas right now?
Shit.
They got somebody. Hold on.
I think they drafted somebody this year.
They signed somebody.
They did.
Because they traded Christian Kirk.
They still got Tank Bigsby.
Diami Brown. That's who it was. Parker
Diami
Washington's still there. But Diami Brown's going to slide into that number 2 role, I would imagine.
They could use another
Gabe
wideout.
Davis. Gabe Davis is still
That's
there,
who it was.
Oh, yeah. Gabe Davis. That was last year,
Yeah.
He's listed as a wide receiver 4 on their depth chart.
Yeah, he was not great last year, but their entire offense was anemic last year. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, I that's going to be a huge storyline this year is, how many snaps does he get? Is he going to be, does he become, a viable fantasy option at any point this year?
Hell yeah. Does he get defense? No, right? You don't get defense.
No, unless you're playing in an IDP.
So, no, I would say no if you're going in fantasy. I would not take him because he's not going to get 100% of the offensive reps.
It's such a
that's
gamble.
a huge gamble. I wouldn't even touch him. Brian Thomas Jr., though, I mean, my God. But it's going to help him.
Hey, I said he was going to be the best receiver. I said he was going to have the most fantasy points out of any rookie receiver last year. And I know Neighbors got hurt for, I think, a game or two, which definitely helped that out. But he looks legit.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this year for Brian Thomas. We'll see what happens. Other takes from the first round or just from the draft and overall as a consensus. My opinion on this draft, if you didn't have the Shedeur situation going on, this draft was like a C- or a D as far as hype.
I mean, I honestly...
The playmakers aren't there.
I took away from it, a lot of teams... I don't think... No pick outside of, later round stuff really stands out to me as, atrocious. I think most teams did a pretty good job. I think it was hard to mess up because there was so much talent at, there was so much offensive line talent. There was a ton of defensive line talent. There was some really good corners. It was just it's always hard to go wrong when you draft those positions in, this level of talent. I mean, I wasn't huge on where Genty went to the Raiders at 6. I wasn't in love with that, but, I get it.
I didn't think he was going to be a top 10 pick a month ago.
I didn't
and
either.
everything changed it.
Also, y'all are gonna think I'm hating because it's the Bears. I didn't understand them taking Loveland over Warren.
So that was a question that I had on here was who's going to have the better career, Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland?
Colston Loveland. I thought he was the best tight end in the draft, and the only reason for that is because he played with shit quarterback play and he stood out in the middle of an offense that was absolutely terrible.
Shit quarterback play last year.
Huh?
Shit quarterback play last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about JJ. I was talking about last year.
Just wanted to specify that.
But they didn't throw the ball a lot then, too. So I thought he was the best blocker. I thought he was a much better blocker than Tyler Warren. I see Tyler Warren more as he reminds me a lot. And Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely can't block, but they're both very athletic. That was more of the comp. I see Colston Loveland more of I'm not going to say he's going to have the same career, but I see him more as a type like George Kittle who can do everything.
And Warren's more like Kelsey.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Bowers too. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I loved his tape at Michigan. Tyler was fun to watch, but not blocking.
I just felt like with the Bears already having Kmet being kind of more of a. I mean, he's a decent tight end. He's probably top 6 or 7 tight end. I think is fair.
Let's see. You got Kittle.
Who?
Kelsey.
Kmet.
Bowers.
Cole Kmet?
Yeah. I mean, now because it's
the tight ends in the NFL right now are starting to fall off.
Yeah, so it's
Kelsey, Kittle.
McBride.
Yeah.
Kittle getting that contract, by the way, is insane, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Contract.
The Niners can never do anything wrong. And I'm also not hating because of just the Falcons. I don't know that I love what they gave up to move back into the first with how much defensive end talent there was to take Pierce. I think he's a great player, and their defensive line will be scary, but I think with how much talent you could have waited till the second to get something. But
and they gave up a first next year.
Yeah, that's
I said that every team that made a first round swap, I don't think got. I think the teams that received the picks and gave up their picks won all those trades.
Yeah.
I think the Browns won the trades.
Absolutely.
I think the Texans won. I think the Rams won. I think all those.
I don't
teams
think
won
the Browns necessarily won that
Mason
trade.
Graham is a better nose tackle than Travis Hunter is at either
I
receiver.
think
No,
Mason
yeah,
Graham-
yeah.
And they get
agree.
another first next year. And do you think the Jags are going to be that good next
But
year?
it was a position of need and best player available. I don't hate it for either. I thought it was very even for both teams. Mason Graham's great. I mean, I thought Cleveland won the entire draft. Except for Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah. I love what Cleveland did, and they took Junkins as well. I love that pick. I think he can be really good. I think the biggest question mark for me in the first round, a couple of question marks that I'll hit on. Number one, Tyler Booker. I thought that was a big reach by Dallas.
I
going
love
with
seeing
Booker.
Micah Parsons' reaction live on his
Oh,
draft
dude,
show.
he was pissed.
But I did like hearing Tyler Booker basically say, like, I make people not
I
want to
play
play
footballs
football.
to make other people not want to play football.
Yes.
He had one of the worst Raz, is that how you say it? Ross scores
Yeah, the
in like
RAS.
NFL history.
Yeah.
He is not athletic at all.
I do still like. I like the idea of picking Donovan Jackson for the Vikings, but I think you could have traded out of that and gotten him later in that second round. That's just how I felt there. So I think it was a little bit of a reach. However, I think the Vikings have one of it's a top 3 line in football right now. I mean, Darrisaw, O'Neal. You bring in Ryan Kelly, you bring in Will Fries, and now you draft Donovan Jackson. I mean, that's a stacked line. If you're a rookie quarterback and you've got that in front of you, and then you've got those weapons with Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones, you better fucking succeed.
It's
JJ. Everybody's in the building at Minnesota. Their entire existence and career right now is on the line with how JJ McCarthy does.
No, it's not.
Yes, Quessie's out if JJ McCarthy does
no,
not
he is
succeed.
not.
What
He
has Quessie done?
What do you mean? What has he done?
Draft wise, what's he done?
When did he? I forget when he became the GM.
Well, he wasn't there when they drafted Jefferson. He did take Addison, so I'll give him that. But he traded up a shit ton for Dallas Turner. He gave up the pick and got really
Well, you got to
nothing.
give Dallas Turner time.
Sure. He gave up the pick that turned into really nothing for Jamison Williams and traded him in division. We'll see what McCarthy does. You reached on Donovan Jackson this year. I'm just saying there's some people in the building that are really questioning what Quase's
I mean,
doing.
there are some GMs that are really good at the draft, and there are some that are really good at free agency, and the Vikings are really damn good at free agency.
Correct.
And you
even
cannot,
though they just overpaid Andrew Van Ginkel, but conversation for another day.
It's also really hard to say who won the draft, obviously, because we don't know how these. But like good teams draft so well. Like
Jahad Campbell.
last year when the draft happened, who would you say won the draft? If you can remember back that far, like the week it happened.
Everybody, every year, you know what I hate? No, I'm glad you brought that up. I hate it. Every year,
I
they
actually-
always say
did I
the
have that in
Ravens
here?
win the draft. That's why I don't agree with like the
Well, I was
draft
going to use
grades.
them as an example.
I put in here. I said
Yeah.
our draft grade's overrated.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
they're
think,
so.
Because you know what?
overrated.
It's the bad teams. Every year it's like the
All
really
right,
bad
here you go.
teams.
Here's
and
a
they're like,
question.
oh,
What-
they got so much better.
What is more overhyped, the pre-draft mock drafts or the draft grades after the draft?
I like the mock drafts. A lot of people hate the mock drafts. I like them because it gives me like different perspectives
Yeah.
of where these guys can go. A lot of people hate mock drafts. They're like, "Oh, nobody cares about your mock drafts." I do.
love mock
So if you
drafts.
put out a mock draft, I'm looking
I did
at
like
it.
10 mock drafts this year just to mess around. They're so much
Yeah,
fun.
they're fun, man. They're fun. I think they're interactive. I think the draft grades are way
grades
worse
suck.
because I think that we should normalize giving a draft grade 2 years later. I think that would be more suffice.
Look
than now.
at Seattle when they had the draft with Bruce Irvin and they got ripped. It was Bruce Irvin,
Bobby Wagner,
Russell
I think, was that year.
Wilson.
Russell Wilson, Cam Chancellor, I think was in that draft.
It
too.
was
And
one of the greatest, if not the greatest, draft class for a team of all time.
they got ripped. They got ripped for that. See, I agree with that, Matt. But like people are a sucker for
A rating.
seeing- Yeah, and as soon as the draft
Dude.
grade come out, if you see your team is ranked wrong on one website, boom, let's go look at
like-
another website.
The Panthers.
It's clickbait.
The Panthers
Yeah,
were
100%.
unanimously like in the top 5-ish teams, like in like grades that I saw online of like articles of like these top 5 teams did the best in the draft this year. The Panthers are like solidly in the top 5. That doesn't move me at all. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I will say, I thought Ted McMillan passed his first test when they asked him a question about what separates him from other receivers on his team.
That's a leader right there. First of all,
That's
don't call him
it's a
Tet,
great
bro.
teammate.
You don't go by Tet. His name is Tetora, or he goes by Nola. Okay, so get that shit straight.
No, he said you can call him Ted.
Nope, he said pass it
Basically,
to my mom.
what I
It's T-Mac or Nola, bro.
Oh, T-Mac. I did like that nickname.
That's tough.
Can I say my? Speaking of, that was my worst in the first round. That was the worst pick for me in the first
Tet?
round. That or
Really?
Dart. Yeah,
Mine was. I'll let you
that's
explain
because
why.
Abuka was my guy, and Tet at 8. I don't mind him. I would have liked to see Carolina trade back. I think they could have gotten him in the 20s.
No, he was not signed to 20.
I mean, how many receivers? If you don't count Travis Hunter, there were only 2 receivers in the first round taken. Mm-hmm. I think he would have been there.
I think.
No, 3 receivers. Matthew
Saints,
Golden.
I think Saints could have went there. I think Bears could have went there. I think Niners could have went there. I think Dallas.
Cowboys.
I think Dallas could have went there. I mean, there was teams behind us that could have.
I just think 8 was high. I think the Bucks getting Emeka Ibuka at what 22.
Everybody's hyping it up, and I just am like, you guys have you just had Jalen McMillan have a great breakout year. I'm not saying Ibuka and McMillan are the same receiver, but then you bring back Godwin. I know he's coming off a very gruesome injury, and Mike Evans is there. I know Godwin and Evans are definitely toward the end of their career, which is why you drafted Ibuka. But I was like, if you're looking to kind of go for it now, wouldn't you want to address other areas of need? Because receiver's not the biggest area of need for you right now.
No, but I'm also very high on taking best player available, and he was that. So, like, the best teams do best player available. They never do positions of need. I mean,
I don't think he was better than Barron, who went to Detroit. Or sorry, not Detroit, Denver.
Denver. Yeah, I had him on here, actually, as one of my top picks. I think he's going to be an absolute dog. Him and PS2, insane duo. And he's so versatile. Like, he can play safety or corner. Like, you can put him at either. He can also play nickel. Like, what they got in that guy is Denver is ascending for sure.
Well, let's do this then. Who are your steals of the draft then?
Real quick, I want to hit on this one because this was, in my opinion, the guy that I think is going to be the bust from the first round, Mykel Williams. I do not understand. He is a project. He is a guy that needs time to develop. And San Fran, can they really afford a project on the D line when they're outside of Bosa? Bosa's there, and what else is on there? They have nothing on the D line. There's no depth, and you're just basically taking a guy that's a project. Sure, he's got the upside, but we haven't seen that much from him. That and
so how many sacks did he have last year? Like
I was actually going to.
It was less.
You're gonna say Mykel Williams over Shamar Stewart?
That was going to be the other one.
4 sacks, I think, in 3 years.
That was the other pick that I really questioned as well.
He's super athletic.
The productivity has not been.
A lot of people had mocked him to Carolina, and I was like, if we take him at 8,
it happens. I swore I was going to be so mad if Baltimore took him too because he's an Odafe Owe. Like, those are the type of edge rushers that the Ravens took, and I was scared they were going to take another project. They don't work in the NFL. That's what I wonder
about James Pierce. I do just.
I hate James Pierce. I'm surprised he went in the first round. I'm not going to lie.
Going into this year, he was number 1 on a lot of people's mock drafts.
Yeah.
Like in the preseason. Josh Simmons, I love that pick. I think he could be the best lineman in this draft if he wants to. I know that sounds so vague.
If he wants to.
But really, go watch his tape. In the games that he cares, he is incredible. He bullies over people. And then if he doesn't give a shit, he's giving up sacks, pressures, missed assignments, everything. It's the most convoluted tape I've seen in a while of a guy that has so much potential if he would just give a shit. Now look where he's going. He's going to probably the best situation you could hope for in Kansas City. And they're going to play him right away. So we're going to find out right away whether that was a pick. I mean, I love the Malachi Starks pick. Best player available. I love his story. You know, you want to talk about a guy that's had to work for it. He was homeless twice as a kid.
Yeah.
His parents worked multiple jobs.
I mean, yeah, I think I hate to say it because they say it every year, but this is actually the first time that I agree with it. That in the first 2 rounds at least, I don't know much about the later guys with the Ravens because they actually went a different direction than I thought in a lot of picks. But if you get Starks and Green, who were both potential top 15 picks, like I'm very excited. I mean, I am very surprised they took Mike Green, just because of his past, and the Ravens have the policy
Zero
that's
tolerance.
not real anymore. And so, yeah, I was really excited. I mean, 17 and a half. I mean,
I
hate
so
to say
bad
it
in the second, dude.
I'm
bad.
literally sitting here saying, like, the biggest steal of the draft is him, because he had the most production in college football. And you get him at what, pick 59, 56, something like that? I think that was the biggest steal of the draft. I mean, to get a guy like that. And the other issue, and I'm not defending him, I'm just saying I'm really surprised he didn't go earlier, just because those allegations are not going to come to life. Because I think they already said, like, the police are not going to get. There's a whole story to it. It's really weird.
Well, it happened at Virginia too.
Yeah, it happened twice. And the other thing is, nobody even knew about it until he brought it up at the combine. So I'm just sitting there like, he's bringing it up himself, like that.
He was getting
makes
ahead
me
of it.
feel a
He
little
was
bit
bringing
better.
it up himself. He had to get ahead of it.
Or you get your PR guy to, like, write you something to put on social media, but to say it in front of a whole bunch of interviewers, I have confidence, especially with the Ravens and their past, that. But I'm really excited about that pick.
I mean, we heard. I don't know if you guys saw the breakdown of friend of the pod, Kurt Benkert, talking about Mike Green, but he went in depth into Mike Green's videos, hyping him up, saying this guy's going to be the best pass rusher in this draft. Did you see the video? I'm sure you have, Matt, of him on Josh Connerly.
I have not. No.
Oh my God, go watch it. He absolutely destroys it. I mean, literally knocks Connerly flat on his ass.
He's a dog, man. He is a dog.
I think that might have been at the Senior Bowl. Maybe?
I'm really sorry. I thought I know that we're going back and forth between winners and losers, but I'm really surprised by Cincinnati and how bad I thought their draft was. Like,
I did not think that they had a good draft either.
I thought this was a big
questionable.
Opportunity, and that's what Burrow said too. He said, we're going to sign these guys. You got to hit in the draft, and, like, man, it's just a really bad. Like, I see Cincinnati, and I know it's really early. Like, I don't see them improving. They might make a wild card, but I don't see them as, like, a team that
based on
wins
the talent
the
that they
division.
have. Strictly based on the talent they have offensively.
Yeah, I think the Browns, like, really got better enough where they are going, as long as the quarterback plays fine, like, they're going to compete. And if Rodgers somehow goes to Pittsburgh, like, it's going to be a really tough division, and the Bengals can't afford to not have a defense again when all the other teams in the division have great defenses. So,
I will say their 6th-round pick, Taj Brooks, I watched a good amount of Texas Tech games for some reason last year, but he was the leading rusher in school history. A lot of upside there. And you find these guys late in the draft with running backs, and that actually, I want to get on that topic. I think the Giants had an incredible draft. I really do. To get Scatabo when they got Scatabo, that guy's a dog. If you haven't watched any Arizona State with Cam Scatabo, do yourself a favor.
He's a good receiving back, too.
He is.
He is very underrated. Very underrated. I also
really
like
him.
the Jadon Blue pick. I thought the Cowboys had a really nice draft other than Tyler Booker. I thought they did very well in this draft. And they usually do draft well. A lot of people shit on Jerry Jones, but he is a damn good draft evaluator. He has done, I mean, if you look at all the great players that he has selected, CeeDee Lamb, you got Dak Prescott in the 4th round. I mean, you can go, they never put it all together, but they always have talent. They always have Micah Parsons. They have so many, Ezekiel Elliott. Like, they do such a great job.
Well, and the offensive lineman draft picks that they've had in the years past in the 1st round. I mean, Tyron Smith, now Tyler Booker, obviously. Tyler Smith, I think, was in there as well. Zach
They have
Martin
3
was in
Tylers
there.
now on their offensive line.
I think it was like 3 straight years they took a Tyler. Tyler Biadasz, who was on there as well. Like, they do a very good job evaluating. I think my biggest winner as far as teams are concerned is Noah's pick to go from worst to first this year, the New England Patriots. I think that the Patriots killed this draft.
Yeah, I mean, they did the Mike Vrabel plan.
Will Campbell
run the
They're
ball.
gonna run the damn
Will
ball.
Campbell, I will die for I will die for my quarterback. That's what Will Campbell is. I love everything about this guy. Travion Henderson.
You love his short arms too. You see how he tried
Such
to, like,
an
wipe his nose?
overrated stat,
Bro,
It's
the
so
video of him,
overrated.
I agree, but I agree. Marshall Yanda had the shortest arms of that draft, I believe it was. But, dude, if you go back and look at him trying to wipe his nose, he couldn't even reach his face.
It's probably because his suit was too tight. Or so. What do you think? His arms are too small to wipe his nose?
I mean, it looked difficult for a guy to wipe his nose.
Also, you want to know what's something crazy that I came across is that his girlfriend is the sister of the starting quarterback at LSU right now.
Who might go number 1 overall next year.
To the Saints, because his dad is the offensive coordinator, I think, for the Saints, or is a coach for the Saints. So there's all those connections there as well. And then there's also the connection with Archie Manning with the Saints. So see you, Derek Carr. Travion Henderson, I think he can absolutely take over that backfield. No doubt in my mind. I know Ramondre and Antonio Gibson are there, but what have they really shown me? And then this is the point that I wanted to get to. I've been waiting to get to this all draft. Kyle Williams will be the best receiver out of this entire draft.
Kyle Williams?
I put it on Twitter. I commented on your post on Twitter, Matt. Kyle Williams will be the first, and the second best, I think, is going to be Jalen Noel. I think with Tank Dell possibly out for the year, next year, at least a good portion of the year, I think Jalen Noel is going to hop right in, and I think he's going to be better than Higgins. Kyle Williams is going to hop into a situation right now where there's the only real competition is Stephon Diggs, who's coming off a torn ACL, and he's up there in age. This guy's going to kill it. You want to go watch a guy that destroyed Travis Hunter in college? Go watch.
Oh yeah, I
Kyle
know.
Williams.
I know, and it's the only highlight of his career.
It's
That's
not
why
the only highlight of his career.
Dude,
go watch all his
that
other
is
film.
the reason why he got drafted. He wasn't. Go look at his stats, dude. The only big game he ever had was against Travis Hunter. One time. Somebody always gets somebody at some point.
Okay.
T-Mac coached Travis Hunter.
He did. What did he have, like 3 touchdowns and 200-something yards?
He cooked him.
I can't remember the other receiver I really like coming out.
Jimmy
of this
Horn
draft.
Jr. from Colorado in round 6 to the Carolina Panthers. Elite.
I thought that was a good pick too. I also like the guy Baltimore took was shoot. I'm forgetting his. I wrote it down, but I'm forgetting his first name. LeJohntay Wester from Colorado.
Oh yeah, the Io Manor guy from Stanford. I don't know if you've watched any of his film. Pretty fucking impressive as well. Going to the Titans once again, a team that has opportunity there. Also, didn't the Titans pick up Restrepo? They signed him, I think, to a undrafted deal.
I don't know. Undrafted free agents go crazy. So
but he was the top receiver for Cam Ward last year. So you wonder if that connection might play.
Yeah, that happens all the time too. Like I feel like there's always a receiver whenever a top quarterback gets picked. He always signs as like an undrafted free agent. They never work out. Like I feel like I hear that every year. It's like, oh, this connection's gonna be great, and then it just doesn't happen. I can't remember last time a quarterback selected in the first round got their receiver from college and they panned out together. I can't name you one. I guarantee.
I don't know. Maybe the Bengals.
Oh, Burrow and Chase. Yeah, you're right. Fuck. Okay. Hold on.
That's an extreme example.
Two different drafts. Number 1 and number 2, both top 5 picks.
I'll have to look into it. I'll have to figure it out.
That's an interesting
for
question.
next week.
That was just the one that came off the top of my mind. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quickly is the Ravens drafting a kicker.
Yeah.
What is your read on that? You think it's over?
So over, dude.
It's the first time in Ravens history they've ever drafted a kicker, dude. You don't do Eric DeCosta doesn't do shit like that.
That was, Justin Tucker, pack your shit up. You're gone, buddy.
Now, granted, the Ravens did take a quarterback, Devin Leary, from Kentucky last year, and that was that shit was I'm trying to watch what I say here, but it was a bad pick.
I thought it was very interesting. I think Loop's got a leg behind him for sure. I mean, we saw him kicking 70, 75 yarders, but
a leg behind him, and hopefully not a thing for masseuse. So
hopefully not a third leg, you know. Yeah. Before we touch on the final topic, I know we wanted to hop into NFL playoffs. We're seeing the NHL playoffs go on right now, the NBA playoffs right now. Where do the NFL playoffs stack up in your mind? Because I might have a completely different opinion on them compared to you guys, but I want to hear how you guys rank them compared to other sporting events.
I'll go first.
Give me your top three. Top three.
Okay. NFL playoffs 1. There is no doubt it is a 1-game elimination. The series ruin it. I don't care what anybody says. There is no reason why I should be watching the NBA playoffs for 3 months, and I'm watching sweeps every single time. So they're number 1 just because of the 1-game elimination.
Or 50-point blowouts. There's been 2
Yes,
of them.
it's always terrible. I mean, number 2 is the Masters, if we count that.
Absolutely. That was in my top 3.
Is much, and this is a hot take, the Masters is a million times better than March Madness, and I'll stand on that. And then the MLB playoffs at 3. Just because they have a better format, they have the wild card that's only 3 games, and that's 5 games, and that's 7 games, which make it go by a little bit faster. I know baseball's a little bit more boring, but I do like the format that they have. I feel like if the NHL and the NBA followed suit, they would be up there with the MLB.
The NBA, and I was kind of hinting on this as well as talking about this. The NBA needs to get rid of the play-in bullshit. It's so bad. The 2 8 seeds that got in got absolutely demolished. They weren't even close games. I mean, I guess 1 or 2 was.
Well, no one knows. I think we were in college when they extended the playoffs to 8 teams, and that's like half the that's over half the league. And
20
16
teams, 20 out of 32. 20 out of 32 teams.
That's so dumb. That means nobody cares even more in the playoffs. If they want, or the regular season, if the NBA wants more people to care about the regular season, make it tougher to make the playoffs.
It's
and
like
they will
Big
give
Cat.
a shit.
It's like Big Cat said. He said that the playing games are for owners like Jerry Reinsdorf of the Bulls to continue to prop it up as, hey, we made the playoffs last year. When really and truly, they're just playing in the playing game every single year.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Noah, what do you got?
I did 5 because I couldn't pick 3. Number 1, I did put NFL. It was close. There's nothing like
surprised.
it. Well, what it came down to was I enjoy watching. Obviously, I've had to get used to it, but like I can watch teams other than the Panthers play in the playoffs. The NHL, I love watching the Hurricanes. Playoff hockey is elite.
Go Caps, go.
Yeah, we'll see. It's coming up. That's the series you should watch, Matt. Caps and Hurricanes.
Are they going to play each other?
Yeah. That's next series.
Oh,
Caps,
I'm rooting
Caps
for the
won
Hurricanes.
Yeah,
won last night.
Dude,
I'm rooting for the Hurricanes.
It'll be elite.
Come on.
It'll be
I
elite.
will
breaks
never
the
root for a
record in the
DC
same-
team. I will never do it. I don't give a shit. Nationals, all of
The
them. I
last
don't
time
give a
they
shit.
played, or not the last time, the time before that, the puck dropped, they were scrapping. They were fighting like the first minute of the game. It's going to be such a good series. So NHL second, because the LA Kings, I don't care to watch them play that much. So NFL for that reason. 3 was March Madness. 4 was the Masters. I'm not a huge golf guy, but I would like to go. I think it's culturally cool and just got a lot of history and just really cool. And then 5 is the NBA playoffs, just because I played basketball and watch more basketball than I do baseball. But as objectively looking, the World Series is probably better. So
Yeah.
Matt, who would be your 4 and 5 if you had a 4 and 5?
I put the NHL playoffs at 4. I put March Madness at 5, and then the NBA playoffs. Or no, wait. Did I do 6? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I did. I did 6. So the
Math is
NBA
hard.
playoffs is out.
yeah, get them.
I'm not a big March Madness. I think March Madness is way too long. I think it's overhyped. I'm not that big on it. I like watching it for betting
The
purposes.
first weekend of March Madness is the best sports weekend.
The 60.
Yeah, I would agree.
The round of
It is
64
fun.
and 32 is elite.
Yeah,
Yes.
but then we get down to the
Unless
there's
your
some good
team's in
games.
it. Unless your team's in the Sweet 16 or Elite. Maryland was in the Sweet 16, so extending that extra week was so much fun. That build up, those 4 days of just, and it sucked for us because Kevin Willard's oh, is he going to go? Is he even going to be coaching the team? And that sucked, but the build up before, there's nothing like it. Number 1 for me is March Madness. I am a college basketball fiend, and nothing's going to change that. And it's just, I love it every single year. I look forward to it's like Christmas morning when you wake up, either A, on that Thursday, or B, when those brackets get revealed. It's there's nothing better than looking at a bracket or waking up and realizing, fuck yeah, dude,
It's also great
14
because
hours
it's
of college
literally
basketball.
just from lunch to 10
midnight.
p.m. Like it's just
It's
basketball.
midnight 1 a.m. until it ends.
And that's great.
I think that's why I don't like it.
I love it.
Because I feel like there's just too much going on.
Watching High Point at 12:30 this year was
okay,
electric,
that was
bro.
not cool.
Yeah. And then the
electric.
week before you've got the conference tournaments, and like for a smaller school it's like that's everything, because like if we don't win we don't get to go to the big dance, and like that's I love those little Cinderella stories too. And that's the other thing is I feel like hockey, we've had it where an 8 seed will beat a 1 seed. NBA will never have an 8 seed beat a 1 seed. I have yet to see it, and I don't know if I ever will. We never thought a 16 would beat a 1, and it's happened twice in the last 10 years, which is crazy to think about. That's the thing that I love about March Madness is like the unpredictability about it is just top notch. Like you never know when that's going to happen. Number 2 for me, FIFA World Cup.
I knew that would
Hands
be in there
down.
for someone.
I love the World Cup. I think it's one of, and the other thing is it's like all these other events we talk about, they happen every year. It's once every 4 years, and it's like once it's over, you don't have to talk about it for like 3.5 years.
I was close to having the Winter Olympics at 5 over the NBA playoffs, but
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like the Olympics as much because I think there's too many sports, and I can't keep up with
that's
like
my favorite part,
archery
bro. You can
and
turn on winter sports and go from curling to like some people skating around and then laying down and shooting a rifle. Like it's just
Yeah, like that sounds like something that would be cool.
But, like,
to
soccer's
watch, like,
easier
time
'cause
take a
it's, like-
nap in the afternoon.
It's like there's one sport going on, and also this is coming up, the World Cup being in the United States next year. Like that's also freaking awesome, and it's like the best team that the USA's had in 20 years apparently. So we'll see what happens. Masters is 3 for me. I'm right there with you guys. Augusta, there's nothing like it. Masters week. The other really cool thing about Masters week is it's like you have the national championship for basketball on Monday, and then that leads right into the Masters that next weekend. I love that part of it. 4 for me is probably Stanley Cup playoffs. Every game is top notch. You're on the edge of your seat every single game, every single second. Tonight is one of the best. Matt, you want to get into hockey? Watch tonight. There are 4 game 6s. 4 of them. It is do or die for 4 different teams, and it's win and you're on to the next round for the other 4 teams. It's going to be
not
absolutely
an
electric.
intensity in any other sport like NHL playoffs.
I have a question for you guys. Who do you think are more diehard fans, Canadian hockey or SEC football?
I don't even think about Canadians. Get them out of here.
It's a question that I've had. But number 5, probably NFL playoffs. I do love MLB playoffs though, because it's every single pitch. Every single pitch you're living and dying. The NFL playoffs, like there are those moments where it's like, walk-off winners and crazy catches and things of that nature. But there's plenty of blowouts in the NFL playoffs too. Like
there is.
I feel like the last couple years, it hasn't been as high. I mean, last year, for instance, what were the big moments from last year? Unfortunately, Matt, the Mark Andrews. But, like, the Vikings got their ass kicked. The Ravens kicked the shit out of the Steelers in the first. That's the other thing is the NFL extended their playoffs. They should have never done that. They should have left it at 6. Those 7 seeds, what have those 7 seeds ever done? One of them.
No,
won.
I agree. I thought that was the
Packers.
worst thing. I thought that was the worst thing they've ever done.
The Packers beat the Cowboys. That's the only team after they've expanded this that's won in the first round. And the other ones haven't really been that close, to be honest.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I think that ruined the play. Like
That's
fighting
why
for
it's
that
gone down a
6
notch.
seed. Yeah, fighting for that 6 seed used to be elite. Like week 16, for all the fans that don't even remember week 16, that was an elite week.
But I think
to
it
get
was
that
their
6 seed.
way of like fixing the problem of like the Buccaneers or the Saints getting in a couple years ago at like 9 wins, and then like a year like this year where you have the Lions, the Packers, and Vikings who are all deserving of playoff spots, making sure teams like that get one over. Like I just think they should do the way the divisions are set up and like automatically getting a bid for winning the division anyways. But that's just me.
Yeah, the other thing that I wish that they would go back to the old format, because I did enjoy 2 teams getting the bye. I think the top 2 teams awarded the bye makes sense. I get it now. You only have 1, and it's like, hey,
I miss the days where it was just the 1 seed. Like it meant so much more. Or wait, the top
It
2
used to be
seeds.
the
I'm
top
sorry.
2, but now it's an
yeah,
odd
yeah.
number,
I
so
missed the top 2 seeds
That's what I
getting
mean.
it.
Yeah.
There was much more of an opportunity. Like the Vikings-Lions game this year, the last week of the season, Sunday Night Football, it's like you win this game, not only do you win the division, but you get home field, and you get the number 1, and you get the bye, and you get the, like, there's so much on that, whereas if you lose, you're a 5 seed. And I knew as soon as the Vikings lost that, they weren't beating the Rams. But yeah, like I said, NCAA March Madness, FIFA World Cup, Masters, Stanley Cup playoffs, NFL playoffs, and then a slight smidge behind is MLB playoffs. And then after that, I'd probably do like WNBA playoffs, and then maybe the NBA.
I was about to say, bro, I literally ain't even watched a WNBA game in my life.
I've watched a couple of NBA
Hell
games.
no. Oh, NBA?
The NBA games this year. I've watched a couple of the Aaron Gordon alley-oop game-winning dunk. That was wild.
That was cool. But like, there's so many. I don't know.
I haven't watched one game of the playoffs.
I've watched the Celtics. They weren't good games, but I've watched
Knicks
them.
Pistons should be pretty good tonight, I will say. Let's get ready to start in like 9 minutes. But all right, last thing. I know we're kind of running close on time. What are you guys' thoughts on this whole Bill Belichick shit?
I don't even care. He's old as shit. Like, let him bone whoever he wants to bone. Now, she is stupid and like bad look for him and whoever he's coaching for. But like, he's not stupid. He knows what she's there for. Let him have fun.
He could be her grandfather.
Okay. So,
bro, his daughter is like almost 20 years older than her.
Did you see what his daughter? It's his daughter-in-law. It's his son Steven, his wife. Did you see what she said? She's on Instagram. She said, "Publicists act in a professional manner and don't storm off the set, delaying an interview." In response to Nikki Glazer's comment over Jordan Hudson being more like Bill Belichick's publicist than his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who cares? They're both consenting adults.
Dude,
She's in it for money,
okay.
he's in
All
it for
right.
fun.
We have to keep that same energy for Shannon Sharp. Because everybody's coming after him right now because he fucks with these OnlyFans.
Hold on, there's
like,
a little bit of a difference. He's being accused
I know
of rape.
that.
Okay, let's
just a tad bit different. But people thought he was weird before that.
I personally think there's a little bit of, dude, I hate to say this.
I think he's pedo. I think he likes younger women, and I think it's close to pedophilia. Yes. I think if you like younger women like that,
I personally think we're hitting a, dude, I hate to say that. I think we're hitting a Joe Biden stage with Bill Belichick. Like, I don't know if he's all there cognitively. I really and truly
She's
am wondering.
smoking hot. He's old and gonna die in the next 15 years. Let him live. Let her live. She's about to get a fucking bag. Who cares?
I'm going to tell you this. Over under 2.5 years that he's at UNC.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna say under because he's gonna go back to the NFL.
I think it's done, dude.
What's it? Under because he's gonna get his girlfriend pregnant. They're gonna move to Hawaii.
He's gonna pass away before the baby's born. All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on?
I'm good.
I know we've gone over a shit ton. Schedule release coming out in 2 weeks. I am more hyped for the schedule release than I am the NFL draft. Hands down.
That's ridiculous. We already know who they're playing.
But now we can
I'm more
plan
excited because I can plan everything
Exactly.
with Tyler. I can plan my
The Ravens
whole
play
fall.
in Kansas City and in Minnesota. The
I'll be at
Eagles
both.
play in Minnesota and in Kansas City. The Commanders play in Minnesota and Kansas City. First of all, the Chiefs' home schedule: Ravens, Eagles, Commanders, Lions, Texans, Colts, and then the other
They might
three
not
in
make
division.
the playoffs.
Dude, they got a tough home
All right,
schedule.
I'll see you guys next week. Y'all are
All right,
getting
boys.
crazy with it now.
Peace.
See ya.